big part of wheeling and dealing and just being a general Pokemon grinder is buying people's collections on Facebook. Sometimes this works out really well, sometimes you get a dud. This time I think we got a dud, but let's find out because we're going to go through this. I bought it off a guy for a couple $100. As you can see from the one binder itself, it's got quite a bit of wear and tear, so we don't have a huge amount of hope for what's in here, but let's go through it and see. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we got in here. Clearly this is a binder from a collector. I think this guy was like 20, about to go to university, and decided to sell me his cards. I've actually gone through and picked out the ones that have the most value, but thanks to the good folks at Anime Alley, we're going to see if they're actually worth anything or if they're too damaged to be anything other than binder filler. This is the real money page right here. Look at all these megas. We got Missy's Affirmation up here. Look at that Primal Kyogre. So this is the real Grail page. Got a little Mew in here. That Zekrom's going up in value thanks to Black and White. You got the Giratina. Honestly, if this stuff is good, we might be looking at a nice little profit margin. But if it's all super played, then we might have just got super played. So let's go see what the good folks over at Anime Alley are gonna tell me. See, these straight up look fake. Not high hopes for that. I mean, I got the energies back there. He does have a nice Sudowoodo collection. Respectable. Okay, let's see what we got. So what I'm doing now is actually just going through and selecting cards I think are worth something. Always a bad sign when they use a custom sleeve because that means the back is probably pretty heavily played. Got a couple Labrases here, triple Lapras. Neat. We don't know what the back of these looks like. Got the Japanese ones. Triple Lapras right there. Japanese one looks good. The other two have sleeves. Gonna move those over to penny sleeves. Now this is the page right here. Look at this. Now, I know for a fact that this one is probably, my goodness. That's his, yeah, we'll say lightly played. So I'm gonna go through, I'm gonna pick out the rest of these. I'm gonna go see my guy at the counter and he's gonna tell me what's worth what, what's salvageable. I don't really have high hopes. Alright, so after going through everything, these are the cards that I've selected to check the value on. It looks like we got some possible big money cards here, but like I said, we haven't checked the back. We don't know how heavily played they are. And the fact that they are in a custom sleeve lets me know that they were definitely played with, which means that they are going to be far from mint. But like I said, I'm not the expert. We're going to ask our good friends here at Anime Alley to see if we just got a bunch of shiny bulk or if we got some money on our hands. Alright, so shout out to my man Ethan here. I put this up on 2x speed, and this guy is a god dang whiz, because he just looked at every single card and he was like, that's fake, that's damaged, that's good. Primal Kyogre, yeah, it turned out that was a fake. Too good to be true, obviously. Everything else he said was almost certainly heavily played or damaged. Now, the good news is that that doesn't necessarily mean it's a dub, because if I want to put the time and money, but mostly just time in, I can humidify these cards, I can straighten the creases out, I can use a little bit of blue paint to work the edges. There is hope, okay? But the question is it going to be worth my time? I'm not really sure. You know, I'm a busy guy. Pokemon is not my main thing. It's probably not most people's main thing. It's a hobby by definition. So we don't really have the time to be going through and correcting these cards if it's worth a couple bucks. That said, if we can 10x the profit of a card by just putting it in a humidifier and creasing it out a little bit, why not? You know what I mean? Guys, at the end of the day, we're in this hobby to make money. I don't have any attachment to these cards in the way that a child would. I'm just here to make money. You know what? So are you if you're watching this video. I'm not really making this for hobbyists. You saw what my former content was like. Guys, we're here to grind. We're here to make money. Life is hard. Nothing goes up in value like Pokemon cards and property taxes. Alright, so after talking to my main man at Anime Alley, he did tell me that most of these are heavily played, lightly played, or even damaged. Does that mean they have no value? No, they're more or less binder fillers, but anybody who's really looking at this as an asset class is not going to be interested in what I've got here. That being said, I'm still going to take them to a convention and see if I can wheel and deal and see anything that can, see if I can turn any of this into anything of actual value. Maybe even trade it out for a slab. And that's the risk you take, guys. Anyway, I'm Gary Grindset. You have a good day. Bye.